Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Samina Pasha to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Samina Pasha's words. First of all, we'll tell you where Mr. Sohail Warich's column, that he recently wrote, has disappeared. We'll also tell you how Maryam Nawaz Sahiba's visit is generating a lot of discussion, and now some lists related to it are circulating. Along with that, we'll also tell you what the issue is between Sheikh Afzal Marwat and Iqra Sahab, because the allegations they are making against Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, and Imran Khan are very serious, and they are also drawing a lot of criticism. So all of this will be part of today's vlog. I request you to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now let's first talk about Mr. Sohail Warich's column. The noise surrounding his column has still not subsided. The latest development is that the last column he wrote, in which he offered some clarifications, criticised some PTI members, and also gave his opinion about the rebuttal issued by DGISPR, that column has now disappeared. Interestingly, the column was indeed published yesterday, and today it can still be seen in the physical newspaper where it has been distributed. But on the Young newspaper's website, the column has been removed. Surprisingly, no reason has been given for this removal. Although Mr. Sohail Warich himself tweeted about it in the morning and shared its link, if you click on the link now, the column doesn't open. Instead, it redirects you to the newspaper's main homepage. Of course, since the column has already been printed in the physical newspaper, that cannot be reversed. It's still there. But the website is no longer showing it, which clearly indicates that some sort of decision has been made to remove it from the digital platform. As you know, most readership today comes through digital media rather than physical newspapers, which are no longer widely circulated in homes. So its removal from the website is very significant. What does this show? Either the Young administration themselves thought it best not to escalate the matter further, or they were pressured to remove it. Because otherwise there seems to be no apparent reason why this particular column's link doesn't open while all the other columns are still accessible. Yesterday, Rana Sanola Sahab made an interesting comment about this. He said that the column was fine as long as it was just published, but once discussions, analyses, vlogs and TV talk shows started focusing on it, the situation became unaffordable for the institution. That's why they had to issue a rebuttal. Now, if you analyze his statement, it could mean several things. One meaning could be that Rana Sanola does not agree with the DGISPR, because DGISPR said there was no such meeting. The entire column was false, fabricated, a baseless story. But Rana Sahab's words suggest that in his view, Sohail Warich was speaking the truth and DGISPR was not. Another possible meaning is that when the column was first published, they did not anticipate the kind of reaction it would generate. But when PTI and others reacted strongly with discussions, vlogs and debates, and when narratives started building around it, especially about the Satan analogy and the demands for an apology, the matter escalated. People began asking why apologies were being demanded and questioning the role of the courts. Critics argued this implied the courts had no real standing, and cases were only meant to teach lessons and satisfy egos. So, when all these aspects started being widely discussed, including criticism of the Satan example, some circles openly expressed reservations that it was an inappropriate analogy. Likely to counter all this debate, the rebuttal was issued. A third possible interpretation of Rana Sahab's statement is that what Sohail Warich wrote was essentially true, and there is indeed an underlying demand for PTI to apologize. And if PTI were to make such a gesture, perhaps reconciliation could move forward. Even DGISPR himself, if you recall, had previously said something similar. Even in 2014, during a press conference, he stated that apologies should be made. He repeated the same stance recently, saying both apologies should be given and courts should decide their cases independently. So this apology narrative is not new. It's been raised many times before, not just by Sohail Warich. But this time, since the column created an entire narrative around it, it seems the rebuttal was issued to suppress that narrative. Now what this shows is that Young and JO Group, long seen as Pakistan's largest media house and often perceived to stand up even against the establishment, as they did in Musharraf's era during attacks on journalists like Hamid Mir or when their channels were blocked for months, today seems to be on a different footing. At present, the situation suggests Young and JO and the establishment are no longer at odds, rather there seems to be some alignment. Whether some compromise has taken place, we cannot say for sure, but the fact remains that column is no longer available on the website. Now, moving forward, let's talk about Maryam Nawaz Sahiba's visit, which is also under a lot of discussion. A list of around 30 people is circulating on social media, allegedly showing who accompanied her to Japan. According to the list, many of them are completely unrelated individuals who had no official role, but joined the official trip just for sightseeing. These reportedly include several of her relatives, her daughters, son-in-law, members of the Dar family, household staff, bureaucrats, friends and many provincial ministers as well. So it's quite a long list of 30 people. And naturally people are expressing regret that in a country drowning in debt, where the public is facing dire conditions, even being driven to suicide, the rulers are travelling abroad in royal style with such a large entourage. An official clarification was later issued, saying that many of those individuals had travelled privately via other aircraft, while the Air Force jet had been specially booked only for Maryam Nawaz Sahiba by the federal government. Those travelling on the Air Force jet reportedly included the Chief Secretary, CSO, Mr. Hanif Jawad, Asma Zahid, Maryam Aurangzeb, Hassan Nawaz, Ibrahim Dar, and some PSOs. These were the people on the official flight. The rest, it was clarified, had travelled privately, but regardless, the controversy remains. Even if they went privately, the fact remains that they are all staying in hotels there, all enjoying themselves, all sightseeing. So why exactly are all these people roaming around with an official delegation? And who will bear the expenses of this entire trip? Obviously, it will fall on the taxpayers. And then, when criticism arises about this, what do? They increase the expenses further and start publishing advertisements. Day 1, Day 2, Day 3, boasting that the successful visit is ongoing. But what exactly is the value of this so-called successful visit? Has any major minister met Maryam Nawaz Sahiba? No. Was she received by any president, prime minister or any senior minister? No. Not even any second or third tier government representatives. So what outcomes have been achieved? Which memorandums of understanding have been signed? What business deals have been made? What investment has Japan committed to Punjab? In the end, what exactly have you gained? If the purpose was really business or investment, then you should have taken just a few relevant people, not your entire family and entourage. This shows the mentality. They think of themselves as some sort of royal family, travelling around to display grandeur. Think about it. In the countries they visit, the people live very simply. They do not have such pomp and show. Imagine what opinion those people must form about these visitors, as if some villagers have come to see the city lights for the first time. If you want to do all this, do it with your own money from your family wealth, the way actual royal families do, from their ancestral resources. Not from taxpayers' money. That is why this trip has become so controversial. Finally, let's briefly talk about Mr. Shah Afzal Mawat and Mr. Iqra ul Hassan. Both of them have been leading a campaign on social media, especially on Twitter. They repeatedly argue that their criticism of PTI is justified. Shah Afzal Mawat even dropped a new bombshell regarding the sons of Alima Khan Sahiba, claiming that several social media accounts like Nemesis, Adlaki Billy, Baba Kododa and others are actually operated by her sons. Javed Chaudhry and a couple of other people also said the same thing, that these accounts, which harshly criticize the establishment and the army, are run by her sons. But this is such a ridiculous claim. If you are saying this, then explain. Those individuals have been in custody for the past few days, yet the accounts are still active, still tweeting. So who is handling them now? If the supposed operators are in jail, then clearly this logic collapses. And besides, if such allegations were true, why don't they appear in the fire? In the fire, they were only implicated in the May 9th incident, and that too after 2 years. How can such claims be believed? As I said in my previous vlog, it's just an attempt to justify actions that have already been taken, creating excuses and pretexts to present those arrested as dangerous terrorists. But the result is the opposite. Their own credibility is being damaged. Shah Afzal never had much credibility anyway. His behaviour, even before his expulsion from PTI, was questionable. Since then, every day he has been exposing himself further, making absurd allegations against PTI leaders, against Imran Khan's family, targeting workers and leaders alike with indecent accusations. That is not how a loyal person behaves, but in this story, Iqra ul Hassan is also not far behind. He always presented himself as very wise, educated, principled, a man of truth and justice. But in the past few days, he too has badly exposed himself. Not because he criticised PTI or Imran Khan, he has every right to do that, as does anyone. No one is saying the whole country must love Imran Khan. People are free to dislike him, that's not the issue. The issue is when someone claims to stand for truth and justice, but then, at crucial moments, joins the chorus against a person who is already targeted and oppressed, piling on relentlessly. That raises questions about one's intentions. And then he sank even lower, dragging personal matters into it, making cheap remarks about private life. Yes, when criticism began against Iqra, some people started attacking his wives too, and I, along with other journalists and even many PTI members, condemned that. Such personal attacks are wrong. But while unknown accounts have no real standing, a known journalist like Iqra has responsibilities. He cannot stoop to their level. When people abuse us online, do we drop to their level and respond in kind? Of course not. We maintain standards. Criticism is fine, but not cheap personal attacks. Yet Iqra used inappropriate words I won't even repeat here. This escalated things further, and when other journalists tried to stop him, he even turned on them, hurling strange accusations, dragging private conversations into the public. This badly exposed him, revealing that behind the polished personality was emptiness, willing to descend to the level of petty street fighters. Honestly, I was very disappointed. We expected better from someone educated, from a journalist who claims to expose social evils and take risks for the truth. But instead, he behaved like this, digging up old statements of Imran Khan and using them as weapons. And yes, Imran Khan has made mistakes, said wrong things in the past, everyone knows that. The question is whether he has learned from them or not. People's thoughts evolve with time. But to dig up old remarks just to attack someone who is already imprisoned and victimized, that shows an agenda that you're serving some purpose. The reality is that Imran Khan has strengths and achievements that no other politician in Pakistan has shown. He has also proven certain qualities. So when injustice is being done to him and you join in the attacks, it exposes you. That's why I say this whole behavior from Iqra was first surprising, then increasingly shameful. That wraps up our translation of Samina Pasha's video. I hope this English version helped you understand her message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.